Fishing trips anywhere, anytime. FishingBooker.com.
Welcome to DSC's Campfires with Larry Weissoon, a unique blend of hunting, fishing, wildlife conservation, and the outdoor lifestyle. DSC's Campfires is brought to you by DSC, Conservation, Education, and Advocacy. Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable. Taurus, award-winning revolvers and pistols. Stealth Vision, high-tech, precision-driven equipment for today's modern hunter. Mossberg, American-built, American-strong. Vineyard Max, deer attractants created for the aroma of success, game feeders, and other hunting products. Red 55 Winery, signature wines from Emmy Award-winning country artist Miranda Lambert, owned by Rick and Beverly Lambert. And the Choctaw Hunting Lodge, home of some of the finest hunting in North America. Now, here's Larry.
Summertime is upon us, and it's time to start thinking about the fall hunting seasons. Like a lot of y'all, I have some great plans this year, and those include hunting bear, both up in Maine and also in the Choctaw Hunting Lodge there in Oklahoma. Great whitetail hunts coming up. Gonna get to do a little bit of hunting both in Texas and Oklahoma this year, and go back to hunt Coues deer probably in January. In getting ready, I've decided that this year I'm going to spend a fair amount of time hunting with several different things, if you will. Primarily, I'm going to be hunting with a Mossberg Patriot Predator in a 7mm PRC, topped with a Stealth Vision SVT 3-18 scope and shooting course Hornady ammo. It's going to depend on whether I use the outfitter or the precision hunter based upon where I'm hunting and what I'm hunting. But to start off with, I've got a bear hunt coming up in Maine with Randy Flannery. Now, that particular hunt's going to be on Wilderness Escape Lodge, owned by Randy and his wife Sharon. And that hunt, too, is going to be available for somebody to go hunt with me, if you will. There, at the same time, that hunt's going to be made available through the DSC Foundation's Gala, which will be, I think, July the 19th at the Gaylord Texan there in Grapevine, Texas. But you can also bid on the mini hunts and the mini items we have available there through onlinehuntingauctions.com. Just have to go to DSC Summer Gala or DSC Foundation Summer Gala, and you'll see it there. These are specific dates we're hunting. Randy is always filled up with hunters, and he very graciously has allowed us to have two places, one for the buyer of that hunt and then one for me, because I've been wanting to hunt with Randy for a long, long time. Now, part of that package is going to be a Rossi R95 4570, a little bit of ammo from Hornady, and then kicked into the deal is, we've got a bear hide that double nickel taxidermy is going to do for the person that takes the bear. So if you can't be there, we'd love for you to be there, of course, at the gala itself. But if you can't, you can go to onlinehuntingauctions.com and look under DSC Summer Gala, and you'll be able to bid it there if you can't make the hunt. Also going to be going up to the Choctaw a little bit later, or actually in October, to their archery season for black bear. I'm going to be hunting with a 10-point crossbow. Not much on bow and arrow, if you will. I tell people I used to hunt with a bow and arrow, and then I kind of grew up, and I guess there is a little truth in that, because I shot my last deer with a real bow, with the compound bow, back in 1984, and used that crossbow this past year in a hunting season on my lease in West Texas to take a really old whitetail buck as well, too, to kind of set the stage and get ready. Going to be hunting on the main hunt with either a 30-30 or a 45-70, the Rossi R95, of course, shooting Hornady ammo. It's going to be Lever Evolution that I'm going to be using primarily. I'm not sure which particular grain because it's going to depend on whether or not I end up shooting a 30-30 or a 45-70. I'll probably put my SVT Stealth Vision 3-18 scope on that rifle, and the primary reason because it does have a lit reticle. I've learned the hard way that black crosshairs against a black bear's body you don't see very well. Same thing with the scope that's on the crossbow. There is a lit reticle which allows me to, as a result, to do precise shot placement. So very important. And remember too that black bear, their vitals actually sit a little bit farther back in their body. You don't want to shoot them through the shoulders. You want to shoot fairly behind the shoulder, at least 5 or 6 inches, and then about center mass. If you look at it from an up and down perspective, that to me, from the bears that I've shot, has been a truly killing shot. No matter whether I shot them with a handgun, a rifle, or a muzzle loader, or even a shotgun slug in the past as well too. So, getting ready for that, I've got a couple of new rifles I'm going to be shooting beyond the R95s and in the lever action in the Mossberg. I've got a couple of new 7mm PRCs. Love those. There's one called the Carbine. It's got a 20-inch barrel. And then I've got one coming too that hopefully will be here before too very long, but it'll have a pretty wooden stock on it. Now, I love wood and metal, and I think those really make for a good looking gun. And if it's properly free floated and bitted, I mean, there's just as accurate as anything that's out there as far as stocks are concerned, as far as I'm concerned. I know I'm going to limit my shots for the most part, even with the 7mm PRC, from 600 yards in. And basically, I'm going to be trying to get within 10 to 15 yards, quite frankly, of the animals that I take, or at least maybe 100, 125 yards. I know with the Hornady ammo that I'm shooting in that 7mm PRC, it is superbly accurate, and probably even more accurate than I care to admit out to 1,000 yards. I've shot some groups at 1,000 yards with the 7 PRC and the 175 grain ELDX Precision Hunter, and pretty much shot a 3-inch group. May do a little bit of handgun hunting this year as well too. I've got several of the Taurus Raging Hunters, and probably going to be using either the 44 mag or 454 Casull. I really like those too. I may consider somewhere down the way getting a 500 S&W. I've shot some things with that particular round in the past, but for the most part, most of the hunting I'm going to be doing, a 44 mag and a 454 Casull, knowing that with those particular guns, with the 240 and 300 grain respectively in the 44 mag and the 454 XTP custom loads that Hornady does, that I can easily take an animal with a 44 mag out to 100 yards and at least 125, 100, even as far as 150 with the 454 Casull. Both those were old scopes, if you will, old long eye relief scopes. Both, I think as I recall, are both made by Thompson Center, or actually they were probably made by Light Optical for Thompson Center several years ago. Those to me have been the most forgiving scopes in terms of eye relief, in terms of the toughest scopes I've been able to find. And whenever I have somebody call me or contact me and say, hey, I'm looking for a handgun scope, what do you recommend? My general recommendation has been all along and will continue to be, go back and find some of the original, if you can, TC scopes or some of the old Simmons scopes going back to 20, 30 years ago. Those scopes were really, really tough. Now, there's a few other good handgun scopes out there, but to me, I've just had those scopes and used them for so long, and I've not quite found one that quite equals when it comes to a long eye relief scope. So we got that coming up, but I need to remind you too, I mentioned the DSC Foundation and the DSC Gala coming up. Right before that, I think it's July 10th through the 12th or something like that, is the Texas Wildlife Association's 40th anniversary convention. Back in 1985, Gary Machen, Murphy Ray, and I actually founded and started the Texas Wildlife Association. And where it's gone in those 40 years is just absolutely phenomenal in terms of the great things that we do. Everything from dealing with hunter legacy to doing so much in terms of school, in terms of education, providing different things for teachers to, my gosh, taking, I think, through the Texas Youth Hunting Group, which is a part now of TWA and has been for a long time. We've taken close to 40,000 youngsters on their first hunt. And with each one of those, there had to be an adult supervisor, either a parent or adult guardian. And so a lot of times those people had not hunted either. So we really kind of introduced probably 50 to 60,000 people to hunting through that particular program. There's going to be an auction and several great items. The beauty of that particular auction is that generally we have certain landowners who do not allow any hunting on their properties outside of a few close family members. And they have been so very generous in terms of providing hunts. So lots of good things coming there. One of the things that I'm donating this year is for the last 5 years, I have donated a Ruger number 1 that had Pretty Wood as part of the Founder series of rifles. I chose the Ruger number 1, quite frankly, because I do like single shot rifles, and I love the Ruger number 1s, quite frankly, when it comes to single shots. But because of the receiver, there is a flat surface to where I could do a drawing of each of the primary big game species found in Texas, and then on the other side put the TWA logo. But the drawing, what I've done is I've created drawings of white-tailed deer, mule deer, pronghorn antelope, desert bighorn sheep. Last year was the javelina, and these are individual drawings that I personally do that are then engraved on the receiver, below which is found my signature. Now, this year, I had told people that last year, after doing the 5 big game species, native big game species in Texas, that I wasn't going to do it anymore in terms of rifle, but realizing all of a sudden that it was going to be the 40th anniversary, I decided to do one more of these raffles. And it's going to be available there through the TWA auction. Ruger number 1, 270, absolutely gorgeous wood. The drawing that I did this year is a very unique drawing of desert bighorn head study, a head study of a whitetail, a mule deer, and a pronghorn. I did not include the javelina on this one because those are the 4 primary big game species that we have, and since it is the 40th anniversary, I just decided to stick with it. That drawing will also go to the person who purchases that rifle, and it will not be reproduced anyplace else. So truly one of a kind rifle when it comes to anything having to do with rifles. And if you're out there and you're interested, you can learn more about it too. I think we're going to have it on the online hunting auctions as well too, under the Texas Wildlife Association convention. So you might look it up there, and I'll try to make you aware of it through Facebook things as well here before too very long too. After doing the drawing, I just dropped the rifle off a couple of days ago prior to this recording, where that rifle is going to be engraved. And as soon as I get the results of it or it's been finished, get noticed of it, I'll start posting it on my Larry Weishuhn Facebook pages, if you will, and you can see it there. And I'll also tell you where you can bid on that rifle. Truly, truly one of a kind in so many different ways. But would really like to invite you to that convention. It's the 40th annual. It's like a huge family reunion, kind of like the DSC convention has been in the past. And this is our 40th annual convention. It's going to be held there at the JW Marriott, northern part of San Antonio. Absolutely fabulous place. We got all kinds of great speakers, got booths coming in. We'll be there selling books. Dave Richards, who co-wrote a book with Al Brothers not too terribly long ago. David Morris, long of Tecomate fame, I should say, and initially with North American Whitetail Magazine, one of the innovators and starters of that. I think Greg Simons, the four of us, will be there, of course, but we'll also be there to sign books. So stop by if you can and get an autographed copy of books from one of the four of us, or all four of us, if you will. Now, the weekend thereafter is the DSC Summer Expo, and that's going to be held at the Gaylord Texan in Grapevine, Texas. Huge, great facility. I think we've got something like 400 booths. Going to be kind of like a mini DSC convention that we've had in the past there in Dallas, and going to have all kinds of great things. You really need to attend this one if there's any way that you can. Again, I'd advise to try to come at least 2 days instead of just a single day, because I don't think you're going to be able to get to see everything you want. And again, too, we've got some unbelievable raffles coming up, and those are going to benefit the DSC Foundation. I think this is going to be our 5th or 6th DSC Summer Gala, and that will be Saturday night, the 19th. Tickets, I know, are still available, and you can learn more about that by going to the biggame.org website, the DSC biggame.org website, and that is www.biggame.org, or to the foundation's website is www.dscf.org. And both those places can give you more information. And of course, that's been splashed all over Facebook and a whole lot of other places. You can learn more about the that summer expo, if you will, and also the DSC Foundation Summer Gala. Going to be like a huge party. Very, so many people I've talked to are going to be there, and I'll be honest with you, I can't wait for either one of these events to happen. The TWA, and if you want to learn more about it, you can go to www.texas, Texas, hyphen or dash wildlife, WILDLIFE.org, texas-wildlife.org, to learn more about the TWA event that's coming up. And learned so much more about TWA as well, too. These two are kind of they're by far the finest and best conservation organizations that exist in Texas. With the TWA, like I said, our 40th anniversary. It's hard to believe that it's been that long, but it's amazing where we came from, what we've accomplished, and where we're going. And then the DSC Foundation and DSC event that's coming up. DSC is by far the finest conservation hunting organization there is in the world, quite frankly. We do so many things, and very seldom do you hear people bragging about all the things we do, because you know what? Maybe we need to start doing a little bit more of that, because DSC so very often does so many things. Other organizations like to take credit for some of the things that TWA has accomplished and continues to do. And you know, that's okay with us, because we're in it for the long haul, and we're in it to make sure that there is wildlife to be hunted and to be viewed by people long into the future. I wanted to talk a little bit before we close this out. Got a lot of things going on right now about the books that I have done recently. About 3 years ago, Luke Clayton and I did a book called Campfire Talk, and that is based on, which is now going into almost the 19th year that I've been doing a radio show with Luke every Saturday morning, or every week, if you will. That too now has become a podcast that I've been involved in since Luke started, called Catfish Radio with Luke Clayton and Friends. If you happen to subscribe, which is easy to do, to Outdoor Action, you can see that those two podcasts, this one, DSC's Campfires with Larry Weissoon, and Luke Clayton's Catfish Radio with Luke Clayton and Friends, are side by side. So they're easily found there on Outdoor Action TV, but also found on Spotify. Both of them are. And my gosh, you name the place that you can listen to a podcast and Chances are pretty darn good. Catfish Radio with Luke Clayton and friends, and DSC's Campfires with Larry Weissoon are both there. So if you get a chance, after you listen to us, please also rate us, because it really makes a difference as far as placement and things like that. But Apple Podcast, iHeart Podcast, CarbonTV.com, all these are great places. WaypointTV.com. Again, you can find my podcast at any of those places. And again, I'd really appreciate it if you would kind of go rate us. But that's where this book was based on, that I'm talking about. It's Campfire Talk with Luke Clayton and Larry Weissoon. This is a book of stories, if you will. All of them true. Some of them are just really good stories, and some of them are about particular hunts and fishing trips that Luke and I have been on, and maybe that we've talked about in the radio show in the past. There are also a lot of good recipes there as well, too, and the book covers just a myriad of different topics, if you will. When I got ready to put it together, I asked my old buddy Jim Zumbo to write the foreword for us, and Jim graciously agreed to do so. It's a softcover book. I can't remember, it's about 300 pages or something, maybe along and through there. But I think it's a book that you'll really enjoy. And I won't tell you how to get it here in just a little bit, but I want to go on to the next book. I also did a book called Deer Addictions, based upon some of my deer hunts across North America, if you will. And that includes everything from the Sitka blacktail up in Alaska to the Columbian blacktail a little bit farther south, to whitetail deer up north and south, and even Coues whitetail, but also desert mule deer and Rocky Mountain mule deer, and then continuing on down to Central America with an area of Campeche for the little brocket deer. Lots of good information there. A lot of good hunting information, kind of maybe hidden in the lines. My deal has always been try to tell a good story, but to impart a little bit of knowledge in the process of it. So that's called Deer Addictions, and it's liberally illustrated with photographs, as really as the Campfire Talk as well too. Now, the most recent book that Luke and I have done is called Poor Man's Grizzly, and it is written primarily about hunting wild hogs, pretty much across North America, if you will. I think there's a story or two in there as well about my hunting maybe a little bit outside North America. There's a chapter or two about hunting javelinas as well. Great stories, but hunting in all kinds of different ways of hunting wild hogs. Now, Luke and I both are hog hunters. We're not so much hog killers, if you will, in that we don't try to go out with a semi-auto and try to knock down as many hogs as we can in a night. Our deal is primarily let's go hunting, let's go shoot one, maybe two, and let's figure out how to make those taste really good. And with that said, I have to tell you there's some absolutely fantastic recipes in that book as well. And two, it is liberally illustrated with black and white photos. Now, all three of those books, the Campfire Talk, Deer Addictions, Poor Man's Grizzly, are available through our websites, that being Luke Clayton's catfishradio.org and my just plain LarryWeissoon.net. The cost of these books shipped out is $28. That includes the book, sales tax, the shipping and handling, all those things kind of put together. And two, if you want, you can go to our website, and there we'll be more than happy to personally autograph those books to you. All the books that you will receive, regardless, are autographed by both Luke and I. But a lot of times we'll have somebody wants a book that may be personally autographed to them or a friend or something like that, and we'll be more than happy to do so. You simply have to let us know. And one of the other ways is that if you really would like to, and you'd like for me to do a drawing, say maybe of a whitetail deer, which I love to do, and Also, maybe of a wild hog to include on the not the cover, but on the cover page where the autograph would normally go. I'll be more than happy to do an individual, one of a kind drawing for you of either a deer, a white-tailed deer, a mule deer, or a wild hog, and make that book even a little bit more special. And if you want to do that, you can personal message me on my Larry Weishuhn Facebook page. The one that's my personal page, and if you can go there, and you can also I'll accept personal checks, but two, you can do PayPal or Venmo, and particularly we'll do Venmo. We've been doing a lot of those here as of late. So if you're into Venmo and you want a copy of one or all three of those books, or two of those books, or just one of the books, you can go to personal message me and tell me who you want the book autographed to, and I'll be more than happy to do so and get it to you in a very timely fashion. A lot of good things going on in the future here. We've got several things coming up that I'm doing, as I mentioned, with DSC and with the DSC Foundation, and also the Texas Wildlife Association coming up here very quickly in July. And I would love to see you there personally. We can sit and visit, and one of the things I truly enjoy getting to hear stories from other people, and I'd love to learn what you're hunting with right now. And even if it's a bow, and I've told you I shot my last deer with a bow back in 1984, but I'd love to hear your bow hunting stories, some of your crossbow hunting stories, and any other stories you might have about hunting, regardless of what the species is. I love to hunt anything that basically has 4 feet, to be honest with you, and occasionally we'll shoot a bird, but very occasionally, I should add. But come tell me your stories, show me your pictures, and I'll be at the DSC Foundation and the DSC Summer Expo there in July, the 17th through the 19th, and then be at the Texas Wildlife Association also the 10th through 12th, and doing a bunch of other things as well too. So if you get a chance, look me up and let's sit down and visit. And don't forget about my books and Luke's books. We'd love to have you order a book from us, and I know that you're going to enjoy it. And like I said, they're the 2 books that Luke and I co-authored. There's some really great recipes, proven recipes, if you will, some really good stories. And then my deer book will take you on an adventure for white-tailed deer pretty much across North America. So at this point, we're going to sign off and invite you to join us right back here next week on DSC's Campfires. I appreciate you being with us. And like I said, if you get a chance, go to wherever you get your podcast or this podcast and rate us, if you will, because it really will help. And look forward to seeing you right around the campfire here next week. Thank you so very much for joining us. See you next week.
DSC's Campfires with Larry Weishuhn has also been brought to you by The Crown Bar in LaGrange, Texas, the Texas Wildlife Association, Double Nickel Taxidermy, and Burnham Brothers Game Calls.